Chuck, this is a tough one. Patty says in this email that she listed her house as is. She got a full price offer. Buyer is going with an FHA mortgage. That should be a clue to a potential concern. The house did not pass inspection/appraisal. The buyer wants to do the repairs, so it passes. And then he wants to ask Patty to reimburse him for those repairs at closing. And Patty's wondering, doesn't that violate the as-is aspect of the contract that he signed?
No, it doesn't violate the as is necessarily. It violates all other forms of fraud. Anyhow, yeah, no, you can't do that. You just can't do that. The whole as is thing. Okay, great, whatever, it's as is. You're not going to sell the house if they don't get fixed. If he fixes it and then tries to lay the no. No, an
Not to
FHA
mention
loan is not going to happen.
No, not to mention the dangers of having a buyer on your property doing some sort of
I
repairs.
know.
That's the bigger concern.
Yeah,
from
and then
my
what happens when it falls through? If the deal falls through anyhow,
Yeah.
then you're going to try and no, that technically falls under mortgage fraud.
So I will tell you though, in the
Mhm.
past, years and years ago, well, this was back in 2013 when the new appraisal guidelines came through. Just after, so we had a house we had listed, and the gutters were clogged, and the buyer actually, without us knowing it, went onto the house roof and cleaned the gutters so that the appraisal would the appraiser/inspector would pass the house to close. We weren't so thrilled about that because we weren't aware that the buyer was climbing on the roof, which was
there's liabilities there. But
Yeah.
whenever something happens that is not disclosed to the bank relating to money
Yeah.
And the purchase price, that's just a whole big deal. Now, I've seen that exact scenario play out. The deal fell through, it went into bankruptcy, and the lawsuit was ugly. Buyer ponied up something like 20K in repairs and was expecting the seller to, and when the deal fell through and the bankruptcies were filed, it just got ugly.
That should be a word of caution to anybody. And not that an FHA loan is bad, but if
it's
the
great.
house is, if it's in disrepair, then you're going to get flagged because the appraiser with an FHA loan is also an inspector as per the government guidelines. That's in addition to the inspection that folks like Brad and his team would do separately. So you got to keep a look at the levels of the amount of work that's going to need to get the home closed, but you have to look at the home to make sure peeling paint, slow drains, things like that, the inspector picks up on for FHA loans. So